back after a few weeks off of the meming. The meme war never stops, like the war in Ukraine never ends.
And we are also funded by the U.S. taxpayer. So thank you for that.
Yes. Big ups to the U.S. taxpayers. I wish that was the case.
World. Met with the accountant last week. And by the way, he's a great guy, very like-minded. Most of our conversation was about, talking about how ridiculous things are and the vaccines and all this garbage. And then I just said, so can I just have my the money I owe just go directly to Ukraine? Let's make this easy. He thought that was pretty funny.
It is. I mean, it would be one thing if it was actually a direct donation. Then I'd be like, all right, if you want to give your crappy money to Ukraine, give your money to Ukraine. Like those fakers that went over there to fight for Ukraine, these grifters like Malcolm Nance. If you want to put your money where your mouth is, go for it. But don't just inflate my money. Don't just pretend that I have any say in this. You're just going to do what you're going to do. You're going to screw over my savings. It's just so aggravating.
At least make a below deck Ukraine with all these yachts they're buying.
Yeah.
Captain Sandy over there. You get the whole crew. At least entertain us with our tax dollars. Something,
how about this idea? There's a Pirates-themed version of... what is that place called? The night-themed dinner restaurant where they fight for your pleasure. What's it called? I know
exactly what you're talking about, but I have no idea what it's called.
Medieval Times. They have a Medieval Times style pirate restaurant where they fight on ships, and that's what we need to see. I want to see that, but you fly over, you're in a helicopter, you get to eat a fine dinner and watch the yachts fight each other with pirates taken from the volunteers, the volunteer corps, which we were told, I think, was like 50,000 strong and really is like 2,000 idiots that flew to Ukraine. But I digress. We're not here to talk about Ukraine. If anything, we should be talking about the fact that Trump has officially been indicted before we get into our memes. I don't know if you have any Trump-themed memes. I don't think I have any Trump memes related at this point.
I didn't see anything good.
I have one. I have one.
I will say this, and I don't want to play it on the show, but so Trump obviously indicted and followed it up, had a packaged ready to go video because he knew he was going to get indicted. I don't know why I guess they waited to do it on a Friday because they probably, for strategic reasons or whatever with the media. But he had a pretty powerful, persuasive video that I'm not going to lie. I mean, it was well put together. I'm not a mega guy, but it's definitely going to resonate with the crowd that, he wants it to resonate with. And essentially the message was, they're not attacking me. They're attacking you. I'm just standing in the way, which I think is a pretty damn good message. Not saying I agree with Donald Trump, but that's a pretty good message.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. Stephen Ellis says that all the good Trump memes are being hidden by the algorithms. That's probably true. I think that the thing that a lot of people are going to take away from this, unless they are your MSNBC pig urine drinking crowd, you are going to look at this and say, this is a clear politicization of the law. Like, there's no way. Like, I was going to ask you going into this, is there any way, if he were not Donald Trump, if he were not a prominent figure running for the presidency that is so widely hated by leftists and by the elites of New York, would this even be prosecuted? And I mean, if he was some guy that ran, let's say it's Larry Sharpe. Not that I'm saying Larry Sharpe, who of course ran for governor in New York, not that Larry Sharpe would pay off a porn star prostitute, but let's say he did, and somehow it got tied into campaign financing.
How dare you drag Larry Sharpe's good name through the mud like that?
Of Larry
How
Sharpe.
dare you,
good name.
sir?
But let's just say, there's no way that they'd be spending time and effort to go through and find this, I mean, virtually insignificant little payment, which I guess the funniest thing is Trump tried to write it off as a tax expense.
Well, that's why I don't even I haven't, studied this or anything really, just kind of looked at it from a headline perspective. But my understanding is this is like a campaign finance law.
Right. That's what it is. Yeah. It's a violation because he wrote it off as a hush payment that he wrote under campaign finance because he used it in his campaign funding. And Michael Cohen, I guess, took care of it and then billed the campaign back for legal fees, which he never performed. He never performed the legal duties. It was just paying him back for the hush fund money, which was put under the campaign expenses. So that's why they're arguing that this is illegal. And I guess technically it is, right? Even though it opens up this Pandora's box of, okay, what payments can you make where and when, and how do you classify them if you're currently running as a president or for a campaign and you're using it in the efforts to shut somebody up during the campaign? Arguably, I would say that would make sense. But it also opens the door to like all these other things, like what would and would not consider hush money, what should and should not be covered under this. I don't know. I'm not a legal scholar. I don't really care that much, to be honest about it. But it certainly does seem that there's not enough here, and it's an insignificant thing to have paid off a porn star to shut up to try to indict him and put him into prison and actually hold a trial over. It's ridiculous.
It's a terrible move by the Democrats, and I would be shocked if like the DNC is not irate that it happened.
Yeah,
because it does, unless they are so confident in their general election schemes of going out and gathering all the votes, unless they're so confident that they want Trump to win because it gives them a better chance because they want to go against Trump, which might be the case. But
yeah,
I highly doubt that they do want to go against Donald Trump because they don't have really a strong candidate to put against him.
They don't. I mean, the whole argument, and this is the argument I've been making, is that Trump galvanizes their base, obviously, which already hates Trump, but it also brings in a lot of people that are on the Republican side who just hate him and may vote for Biden just out of spite, or independents who just don't like him. But that was before. And this move, I think now, is going to really piss people off to the point where it could actually raise his base. It's now going to galvanize the right, which had the anti-Trumpers, which had people that hated Donald Trump, that have grown away from him, that were dissatisfied with what he did during COVID. Well, the whole fast forwarding of the vaccines movement, the way he handled foreign policy, your monetary, the bailouts. Those people might have pulled away from Donald Trump. They are now solidly going to be in a pro-Trump camp because of this idiotic maneuver by New York's district attorney district attorney. It's
DA.
Bafflingly stupid. And to your point, I was shocked that the DNC didn't go, look, we're going to make sure you never work again if you go forward with this, because all it does is help Trump. Yes, we may have wanted to run against him before, but now you've given him a brand new platform to go off of as far as what is the danger provided by the system under Democratic rule, right?
And the other thing is, and obviously we're going to talk about memes here in a minute, but just one more point. I mean, I feel like the media has done a pretty good job against, like, the media's running against Trump, essentially. The establishment, it's all together. The DNC of the media, most of the media. And they've done that by sucking the air out of Donald Trump, and he doesn't have Twitter, so he can't get a message out. Well, they just gave him all of the air. They gave him all of the attention. They gave him all of the steam, which is like the opposite of what they've been doing for the past year, which doesn't make any sense. So I don't know. I'm not sure what the hell's going on.
No. Yeah. Well, anyway, on to the memes. I do have one meme that I thought was very appropriate, and it ties into the Trump indictment, which is this, shared by Danny Jokes on Instagram, and it is the scene from South Park, if you're familiar with it, where Randy Marsh is denied internet access and has not been able to whack off for many weeks, and he finally gets in there after this long wait, after being so excited to finally get to what has been so excited to see, and then just spooges all over himself, the entire room, and everything within range of, let's say, 8 feet. And it is that picture of Randy Marsh sitting covered in spooge with the CNN logo pasted over his face. And I think nothing could be more appropriate than CNN's exuberancy over Donald Trump finally getting indicted. And I think this is probably the most accurate meme I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think I was watching, I think it was The Daily Show with, and they've had like guest hosts on recently, and they had former Senator Al Franken hosting.
Yep.
And this was like right when the news broke, or when Donald Trump broke the news he was going to be indicted a couple weeks ago. And essentially it was 5 minutes of Al Franken just mentioning anything about having to do with Donald Trump being indicted, and the crowd would cheer. And then he basically says, I can say anything right now. You guys all love me. You love me. And it would cheer. Right. It was just so absurd. Like,
it's like we were talking about earlier, the short-sightedness of these people. Yes, we're going to get him. You're not going to get him. He's not going to fucking jail. He's not even I mean, there's the whole argument about the Secret Service, too. Like, how are you going to get him out? DeSantis is like, we're not going to help extradite him. The Secret Service has no duty to bring him into New York. So he'd have to voluntarily go in himself, which I think he'll do because it's going to be a spectacle. He should, in truth, Donald Trump should want to have this happen because, like I said, it's going to cement him being a martyr for this ridiculously politicized system. But in the meantime, you've got the Secret Service that they're going to protect him. He's not going to be in jail alone. He's not going to go into jail. If anything, he'll be put on a temporary, home arrest at his massive Trump Tower. Like, it's just, these people are such assholes.
Yeah, I don't know how they'll do it or how it works, but he'll negotiate something where he'll go in, get his prints or whatever he needs to do, get his picture taken. We won't see any of it. I highly doubt it. But yeah, if he's smart,
even fingerprinting him could be a national security issue, right? They're arguing that having the president, a former president's fingerprints on there because you could use it for all this sorts of stuff.
Yeah, but if he's smart, which he is in some ways, he's smart at getting attention. Other ways, not so much. He's going to use this to, he's going to put himself front and center back in the spotlight of the media, and he's going to stay there, I think, because he is the center of the conversation now.
Yeah.
So get used to it, people.
Yep. Exactly.
All right. So I think I can see which one this is. Hopefully it's the one that I think it is. All right. Yeah. So why is that so small? Anyway, I don't know if you've seen this, but it says, this is a short video. It says, first day at your new job after you lied on your resume. And I'm going to play it. You got Joe Biden in an all black church. So here we go. Can you hear it?
No, I can't hear it.
Why can't you hear it?
Yeah. Usually if you play it on Instagram, you might have to click a little button. At the bottom, Odie.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Grandpa Odie.
Jeez. Wow. I can playing through the wrong speaker.
I could hear it. Now you turn it off again. What are you doing to me? You're killing me, Odie. You're killing me.
All right.
Come on, clap your hands, all these people. Talented God with a voice of Christ.
He just looks so confused.
Everybody around him is swaying and clapping and singing, and Joe Biden is standing there stone still and now just literally made a gesture to somebody like, what the hell am I supposed to do?
He has that, that dementia face where your mouth is just a little bit open.
Yeah.
And then he's just kind of gesturing with his arms. It's
so bizarre. And literally, there's a guy standing next to him looking at Joe Biden, also trying to figure out what the fuck Joe Biden's doing. That was so bizarre. I mean, he was literally standing there with an abject look of confusion on his face, as though he literally had walked in there and had no clue where he was. That was, I actually legitimately wonder if he knew what the fuck was happening in that moment.
He probably did when he got there, then forgot. But this is a guy who claims he growing up went to black churches and worshiped there, which is total lie. I mean, I don't think any president has just, sure, presidents lie. That's what they do. I get it. Everything they're doing is basically a lie, but just telling lies that are so easily proven wrong.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And he's been proven wrong on the same lies multiple times, but yet he keeps repeating them.
How about the wonderful lie? The one, I'm sure you've heard this one, where he told this whole stupid story about seeing two gay men kiss. His father, when Joe Biden was something like, what was he saying? I was
1956 or something.
As if in 1956 there's just openly gay dudes walking around kissing. Not that there was anything wrong with being gay, but at that point in time, not exactly a popular thing to do in public. That could probably get the shit kicked out of you. And Joe Biden's talking about it as though it's just plain as day.
Dave Smith had a pretty funny take on it when even in Joe Biden, trying to seem like he was hip with gay people, still made it seem like weird as he's describing it. He's like, and I'm there in the car, and there's two men in suits, just like normal men, just like me or you, just like anybody else. Two men dressed in suits, dressed nice, walk up to each other, give each other a kiss. Then they go separate ways to their jobs in real nice office buildings. Regular people make good money, just like me or you.
You know what? Even that is so odd. Like there's two guys who just walk up to each other, give each other a kiss, and go their separate ways. All right, I got a video which is great. This is and I give this a lot of credit because it's Family Guy, and Family Guy, despite the fact that Seth MacFarlane, who seems to have gotten more woke, I think probably more as a exercise in keeping his career alive, and in the midst of this offensiveness, Family Guy is still very funny. And I have to share this video because it's got Stewie, and he's sipping from a mug, and he's got some menstruation pills like Midol next to him. Allow me to play this for you guys. Unmute and play. This is from 2022, I guess, so recent.
Boys can't get periods.
Brian, it's 2022. There's no such thing as a boy anymore, or a girl. Just a vast sea of chubby theys and thems, so coddled by their sanctimonious woke parents who think activism is virtue signaling on Instagram. If Martin Luther King could come back and see what they were doing in his name, he'd never stop throwing up.
Boys can't...
Can you imagine Martin Luther King coming back and just all he does is just starts throwing up everywhere?
Martin Luther King was into some, he was into some kinky shit though. Maybe he'd be into picking up transvestite prostitutes like Eddie Murphy. Who's to say?
Was he into gay shit? I just thought he was into cheating on his wife.
No, just cheating on his wife. But but he probably didn't have the options that we have today.
Anyway,
it's not the best, especially when the FBI is trying to actively, recruit that and tape it and ruin your career. That's really the downside. I mean, cheating on your wife, bad. Cheating on your wife with the FBI actively watching you, worse.
Yes, indeed. All right. So speaking of people who are stupid, Lindsey Graham, really dumb. So he was recently on Jesse Waters' show on Fox News. And Jesse, is it Waters? Yeah, it's Waters.
Yeah, Waters. Mm-hmm.
He points out that Lindsey Graham co-sponsored a bill that he says he's against.
Senator Lindsey Graham, who supports this and is here now. You got to be kidding me, Senator. Did you read this?
Yeah, I don't think I support the Restrict Act.
You don't support this because you were named as one of the supporters, because this is garbage.
Is this the one that there's two bills out there? One allows a review of businesses that are connected to China, give the secretary the ability to protect their data. Is that the Restrict Act?
Yes.
How does he not know?
686.
I guarantee he didn't read shit.
Right here, March 7th.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a bunch of Republicans supporting it because this thing is crazy town. You don't want the government looking into your private phone.
No, I don't.
If they have a hunch you're colluding with the Russians, we remember how that turned out.
Right. Yeah, no, well, the Constitution trumps a statute.
Anyway, we don't need to listen to Lindsey Graham, but the point of this is, he goes on to say at the end, like Jesse Waters makes a joke. He's like, so are you like John Fetterman, where your aide is just putting your name on stuff? Lindsey Graham's like, maybe that's what happened here. Like, kind of agreeing with it. Like,
that's all. That's a great comment by Waters. I don't really watch Waters. I should probably check him out. Did you read? I did a Good Morning Fuckhead rant on this yesterday. But did you read some of the provisions in that act? I mean,
I did not. No,
it is beyond insanity. It goes into any cloud-based app, anything on your phone, anything on your computer, anything that is by extension, like connected by the internet, literally your Ring device. It is the most insidious spying, back bill I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it literally is above and beyond the Patriot Act in giving the government the ability to spy on every single thing you do, to restrict access, to penalize you if you use a VPN device or like a VPN to get around, certain restrictions. The government can penalize you $250,000. Like, it is
what?
batshit. Oh, it's unbelievable the shit that's in this bill. And thank God, at least there's so much pushback on it because, unlike with the Patriot Act, where people are just like, well, we got to do it because, they're coming for our towers. They hate us because they're free. Well, unlike that, at least now you're getting pushback, maybe because half the people are using TikTok and don't want to take it away. But at least now there's people that are reading the bills, like citizens reading bills that these assholes like Lindsey Graham included in review at all. Bit my tongue halfway through that.
So essentially, it seems like they want to make legal most of the things they're doing anyway, without without telling us. I'm sure they're doing all. I mean, that's not to say that they should pass the law, making it legal. I don't want that, but it's freaking crazy, man. I don't know how we put a stop to this or rein it in, but I mean, it's good to see. And I mean, I don't think Fox News is like, the good guys or anything like that. I think they're just as bad in many ways as, CNN or MSNBC. But it does seem like, Tucker and Jesse Waters and like there are like, it seems like Murdoch gives his people a little bit of leeway to a certain extent to do some things that where they can actually, expose some corruption. Maybe I'm just naive and we're just all being played in a huge propaganda war. But it seems that way, at least.
Yeah, I would agree, man. All right, I got another one for you. This one I really loved, and I didn't have many likes on it, so maybe this will blow up after I share it. This is from the Mitchell Man on Instagram. I don't know if he stole it or if he made it, but I'm sharing it from him. Daily reminder, it says, the aliens in They Live are less evil than our current overlords. And it's got a big billboard that says marry and reproduce, which you'll recall was one of the things you put your sunglasses on and you saw through the ad that said marry and reproduce. So this is supposed to be a bad thing. But now, as we're seeing, with the constant war on keeping families together, with the de-emphasizing of bearing children, with the attacks from leftists on having children and how you should be so happy and free and how children are a burden to your life. Well, I would agree that the aliens that They Live, which we thought were so much bad, now when you look at our current society, what's going on with all the poisons these people are fucking preaching, they don't seem half bad. I mean, legitimately.
Yeah, what's wrong with marrying and reproducing? That's life's all about, right?
I mean, I guess you could say, marriage and reproducing, countries depend on their population growth and stability. But yes, you know what? If you're married, you're stable. You're a stable tax base, but better to be a stable family with upward economic mobility and having some fucking kids that can take care of you and maybe be good people. But yeah, hilarious, man. I thought this meme was so fucking good.
And I think when you do get married, and especially when you have a kid, married or not, it does change your whole perspective to a certain degree on life, and it makes you much more serious about certain issues, and I think less easily pushed around by authority, which they don't want that. They want to be able to push you around and manipulate. So that's why they don't want you to have kids.
Yep. Amen.
All right, last one for me, and this is just good old-fashioned fun here. All right, so we got a meme here. We got what is that giant dog on the left? Is that from something, or is this just a meme dog?
I think it's just there was like a giant muscle dog that has always been around. This person drew wolf hair all over it.
Okay, so we got a giant muscle dog with wolf hair all over it. Dog 300 years ago. I killed all the wolves and ate the liver of a fox that wanted to steal food from our home. Dogs now, you got a little wimpy dog. You changed my food, and now I have diarrhea. And I mean, I don't have a dog, but I know a lot of people who own dogs. Basically, everyone I know has a dog, and they're always like, my dog has to eat this or has to eat that. But it's really just, I mean, it's not only dogs, it's humans. Humans are so freaking sensitive. They can't eat anything anymore. Everyone has a freaking gluten allergy or a food allergy, or you can't have this, can't have that. Where did this all go sideways? Where did this all go wrong? I saw this meme recently that had, if you had the entire existence of time for human beings, we've been, if you made it a clock, 24 hours, we've been eating meat, just meat, basically, with some berries and shit, for the past 23 hours. We've been eating grains for just the last hour, and we've been eating processed food what was it? Just for the last minute, I think. Maybe it was
Yeah.
10 minutes. I think minute. So insane.
You know what's funny is literally when and I should just be doing this when I'm home alone, because I'm home alone during the day a lot anyway. But my wife we're gonna have home renovations, and it's gonna be me holding down the fort at home, and I legitimately think I'm just gonna buy a bunch of meat, just straight steak and whatever, chicken wings, and that's gonna be all I eat when I'm home alone.
Carnivore.
Is just meat. Which when I used to have like my really ripped six pack, which I had for a few years I was like super ripped. I legitimately ate nothing but, for the most part, meat. That was it. Like it was all meat. I just would eat fucking meat chunks cooked in my oven, and that was that, because I was lazy and because it filled me up and it was easy, and it's like I was in fantastic shape. So I'm going back to it.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said for it. I mean, I think you need some fiber and stuff from vegetables and fruit,
You get that,
but,
a little cereal, a little cereal, little veg here and there, but.
Yeah, but I was going to say, I don't think there's anything wrong with like short term, like just eating meat for a couple weeks. It might be actually good for you to clean you, kill off the bacteria.
Right, exactly. All right, well, good memeing. Good memeing. Anything else to add? This cavalcade of images and sounds?
Nothing at all. Nothing.
Excellent. That's what I like to hear. All right. Well, have a good weekend, everybody. Don't forget, hit subscribe, hit like the podcast, subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube page, and of course, Rumble, Odyssey. All right. Goodbye.